Alright everyone, today's video is Barbarian class guide for new PCs, and it's going to go over the mechanics, purely the mechanics of how to build your Barbarian from level 1 to level 5. Now disclaimer, this is not how to roleplay your Barbarian. There's some things I'm going to say here. Ignore those things when you're talking about roleplaying your Barbarian. But from a mechanical perspective, we're going to build your Barbarian from levels 1 to level 5. So we're going to assume you're a half-orc. We're going to say you have 18 strength, which is a modifier of +4. We're going to say you have 16 con, which is a modifier of +3, and we're going to say you have 14 dex, which is a modifier of +2. So at level 1, you're going to gain rage, which while enraged, you can, as a bonus action on your turn, you can go into a rage for 10 rounds. This rage ends early if you choose to end it as a bonus action, or if you go around without taking damage or making an attack. In addition, while enraged, you deal +2 damage on all strength-based melee attacks, and I think it would also include things like javelins, I'm pretty sure, but you'd have to talk to your team about that, because the wording is a tad bit unclear, because I think it does say melee strength attacks, but if you're using a javelin as ranged instead of in its melee form, would that still apply? That's unknown. So you do gain that bonus damage, and then you also take half damage, or you have resistance to, I should say, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Note that that is not magical or mundane damage, that is all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. There's a lot of resistances that granted to non-magic weapons. This is for all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So that's what happens when you rage. And as you level up in a Barbarian table, you'll gain more charges, more options to rage. So if you run out of rage, you can use one or more of your charges. At first and second level, you have 2, and then at third level, it jumps up to 3, and it's the same for 4th and 5th. The bonus damage is also going to be 2 for, I think, all those levels. Now, also at level 1, you have your unarmored defense. So with this, you'll take your armor class of 10, and you'll calculate it instead of the normal way of just adding your dexterity or adding your armor's AC bonus. You're going to take 10 plus dex plus con, which means 10, and we have 14 dex with a modifier of 2, so 12. We have 16 con with a modifier of 3, so 15. We have an armor class of 15. Our hit points are very easy as well. We're going to take our hit die, which is a d12. Every time we level up, we're going to gain 7 hit points plus our con modifier of 3, so we're going to gain 10 hit points every time we level up. And we start at 15 hit points. Now our movement speed for an orc is going to be 30. If we're something smaller like a dwarf or a gnome, it'll be 25, and if we're a wood elf, we'll get 35, I should say. Centaur gets 40, and Eric Cocker gets 50 flying speed and 25 walking speed. So it just depends on your race what your speed is. Now our initiative bonus is going to be +2 because we have a dexterity modifier of 2. So our initiative bonus equals our dexterity bonus. Your proficiency bonus is +2 at levels 1 through 4, and at 5th level it goes up to 3. Your passive perception is going to be 10 plus your perception ability bonus. So if you are proficient with perception, you'll add your proficiency bonus of 2, and if you have a wisdom of whatever the score is, you'll add your wisdom modifier. So your passive perception probably won't be too high as a barbarian, or it might be, because barbarians oftentimes have decent wisdom for the survival stats and that sort of thing. So at level 2, you'll gain reckless attack and danger sense. So reckless attack is on your turn. When you make an attack, you can declare it a reckless attack. For the rest of that turn, all of your attacks will be made at advantage. So this includes bonus attacks, and extra attacks from the extra attack feat, but this does not include reaction attacks that happen outside of your turn. It has to be within the turn. Raw, it has to be within the turn. Now, rules as intended, maybe you could have an argument there that it should be reaction attacks too. But just raw, it is only on your turn, so it will not proc on an attack of opportunity. When you make an attack reckless, all attacks against you will have advantage for the next round. So you'll attack with advantage and everyone else will, hence reckless. You're throwing aside all concerns for safety and just swinging to hit. The other ability you get at this level is Danger Sense, which is really good. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects you can see, such as a fireball or a trap, and to use this ability, you cannot be incapacitated or surprised. The second level. At third level, you gain your subclass, so usually a Totem Warrior Bear, or a Berserker, or an Ancestral Guardian, just whatever your subclass is, you'll get those abilities, and I don't think I'll have time to cover that in this video. I might go over a subclass guide for each subclass, but for now it's just going to be the main Barbarian, so you'll gain your subclass abilities, and when you rage, you'll have special abilities associated with that as a Barbarian. So at 4th level, you'll get an ASI, which is called an Ability Score Improvement. And what that means is you get 2 points to put into your ability. So if you wanted to bump your strength up to 20, or your con up to 18, or you wanted to put 1 in dex and 1 in con, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Or you can take a feat. And feats are listed in the PHB and in several additional sources. Some of the better feats are Great Weapon Master, Grappler is an amazing one for Barbarian because you already have advantage on your strength checks. So if you get Grappler, or Tavern Brawler too, because they both deal with grapples, and as a strong character with advantage on your strength checks while raging, grappling is really good for you. And then at 5th level, you will gain your extra attack. So whenever you take the attack action, you will be able to attack twice with 1 action. Now bear in mind, this is not 2 actions. This is not an action and a bonus action. This is 1 action with 2 attacks. All right. And a real quick guide on how to make an attack roll. If we have our Orc Barbarian at level 3, and we want to make our attack, we'll simply roll a d20. We'll add 4 because we have a strength of 18 and a modifier of 4. So we'll take our d20, we'll add 4, and we're proficient with our great axe, so we'll add another 2. So that's 1d20, I should say, plus 6 for the attack roll. Now for the damage roll, we'll roll 1d12 since it's a great axe, and we'll add 4. That's it. That's all we add for the damage roll. For the attack, we'll add 6. For the damage, we'll add 4. The attack is the d20 to see if we hit. The damage is how much damage we roll. We'll roll 1d12, we'll add 4 to see how much damage we deal. Now to know whether you hit or not, if your number exceeds or equals your opponent's armor class, then you will succeed. So if we had to face a goblin with an armor class of 15, and we rolled a 9 on our attack roll, but we have plus 6 from our attack bonus, we will hit. Right? Makes sense? And that's how you make an attack roll. And at 5th level, we also gain our fast movement, which makes our movement speed 10 feet faster while not wearing heavy armor, and I think you might see armor in general as well. But that's a Barbarian class guide. So pro tip, research your class before you begin so that your DM will be happy with you. If you know your abilities ahead of time, DM doesn't have to remind you and remind you and remind you. They're going to be so much happier. So I want you guys to share and subscribe so that everyone can see this video and learn how to play the Barbarians correctly. And I want you to comment down below on your favorite Barbarians and in my Discord server as well. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun in your games.